Hello, hello there, dear travelers. It is I, Alter Delirio, the star inhabiting the abandoned space station, and today we are checking out Draculesti. Why, you may ask? Well, you may assume it's because it's vampires. In reality, it's because I have the entire book of Dracula memorized and I have read that book over 500 times, and obviously if I see something of a Dracula, I'm gonna check it out. As a heads up, there is a few instances of body horror. And before we go on to the demo, heads up that the Kickstarter is currently active, and if you enjoy, please make sure to check it out. And other than that, please make sure to subscribe and leave a like and all that kind of stuff. Okay, cool, we're going. Alright, let's start with the horrors. Let's go. Romania, 1931, Castle Dracula. I, Roger M. Renfield, have been sent by the Harker and Hawkins law firm to complete the sale of a number of English properties. To the castle's master, Prince Dracula. Though Dracula has been hospitable, his domain is less so. Ghosts haunt the halls of this oversized tomb, alongside other unnameable creatures, men made of smoke and ash. My host swears they're nothing but bad dreams. And yes, it's true, I have a history of waking nightmares. That I've lost good years in a sanitarium. But since when do nightmares leave handprints? No amount of charm and hard liquor can fully convince me the monsters aren't there. The more Dracula applies me wisdom, the less I trust him too. I am loving the art so far, by the way. The art is so pretty. Who can I rely on in this terrible place? 15th February, 1931. Our nightcap knocks me out until sunset the following day. I'm a total disgrace. And I feel like shit. Someone's come through and left documents on the desk. I am absurdly late for work. At least there'll be distraction from everything that happened last night, my own conduct included. Alongside the document is a breakfast tray. Scrambled eggs, bacon, grilled tomato, and hash browns. Most of it looks delicious. Can't say I want the bacon, but in these parts, best to eat it and avoid any undue attention. Besides the plate, a freshly cut rose is being used as a paperweight, keeping a delicate piece of stationery in place. I move the rose aside and look at the message. Master Renfield, I apologize for the disturbances last night. Do not feel guilty for being distressed by the condition of our home. It makes terrible noises that stoke worse ideas. If you'd like a tamer evening, there'll be tea in the parlor where we ate yesterday. I've invited the brides for a proper introduction. Theodora is eager to hear about her new home. Present yourself at the parlor between 7 and 8 if you've any interest. Otherwise, best of luck with your work. Prince Dracula. As I eat breakfast, I consider my next move. Whatever I do now will set the tone for a relationship from here out. Should I try to patch things over or let the wound fester? Furthermore, there's that forbidden haunted bathroom, my bathroom, closest to the tower anyway. Best to confront new fears as soon as possible. I can't spend this whole trip afraid of a sink. If I don't attend tea, I ought to confirm the ghost was nothing but a trick of the faulty lights, lest I develop a new phobia. Well, I have seen the ghost, and that's who I want to romance, so that's who we're going to be romancing in this playthrough. Besides, I never did get to shave last night. What'll be, Renfield? Heed your master's call or brave your creepy toilet? Whatever it was that actually happened last night, whether or not he knows more than he lets on, I'm not comfortable with how Dracula pretended not to notice the marks on my neck. Best to keep some distance, finish the documents as quickly as possible, and leave before the situation gets worse. Staying functional means staying clean. Let's take a look at that sink. Toiletry bag in hand, I return downstairs for round 2. I'll clean the mirror, and there will be nothing there. Then I'll shave. It will be fine. The bathroom is identical to the night before. The steam's dispersed, but the mirror is clouded with dust. Oh, okay. Sure enough, when I wipe the largest section clean, there's nothing but me inside. My sorry, stubbly face. Time to fix that. I refilled the sink, carefully retrieved the razor from the jumble, and set about shaving. I'm less precise than usual. Well, I mean, the glass is broken. I think that makes sense to being less precise if the glass is broken. Still terrified there'll suddenly be someone behind me. Or worse, a bodiless voice filling the room. The third stroke wobbles. The fourth stroke, I slip harmlessly. The fifth stroke cuts straight into my jaw. I lose hold of the razor. It clangs on the floor near my shoe. Since the room's nominally out of order, there aren't any towels, and I forgot mine. What to do about the blood? There is a lot of it. Clamp my hand to the wound. It's shallow but prolific. It seeps between my fingers and drips on my collar. Got to wash it clean. Ducking toward the sink, I scoop both hands through the water to splash it on me. When I stand up straight again, the mirror is brighter. A faint glow emanates through the room. There, before I can react, there are hands on my shoulders. Uh-oh. My, what a nasty cut. I've had auditory hallucinations and visual hallucinations, but never anything tactile. Here, let me help. Releasing my right shoulder, they move their hand to my jaw. Then they lean over and, while I'm too stunned to react, press their mouths to the wound. Okay, freak! It's almost a kiss. Finally, they withdraw. Their reflection clarifies in the mirror. A beautiful young man. When our eyes meet amidst the cracks, he lets himself breathe. Saliva to help it I can read. Saliva to help it heal. I breathe too. Oh. He looks at the mirror and his face twinges. It's impossible to tell whether he's focused on my reflection or his own. Hard to know where to go next. Eventually I find some composure and say, "Who are you?" Another of the house's pitiful inhabitants. That's not much of an answer. It's all you'll get. I try to turn and face him directly, but he catches my shoulders again and keeps me looking at the mirror. We're not finished, are we? I interrupted you last night, and again now. If I could please have the razor. Try mine. Before I can react, he slides his grip down my arm to take hold of my wrist and guides my hand to the mirror. Open your fingers. Wait. I splay them out and expose my bloody palm. He pushes me forward, so I press it to the center of the cracks. Oh my god. Tiny, powdery bits of glass prickle against my skin. It's uncomfortable. Slowly, a red glow spreads out from the center, along each line, to the ends. As if the glass is bleeding too. Then, like a cut healing at up-team times the speed, the cracks close. The mirror is a single perfect pane. He lets go of my hand and I lower it to grasp the edge of the sink. A tiny latch is now visible at the edge of the mirror. He clicks it open and swings the surface out, revealing an indented cabinet space behind. There are 3 items on the middle shelf. A strangely curved comb, a bulky off-white hairpin, and a folding razor with an oversized grip. Just having a safety razor against my face can be unnerving. Is he really going to use this instead? He takes it from the shelf. Yes, he is. As he unfolds it, he closes the cabinet. When we're done, don't forget to take those too. I'm not sure I need you to. As he brings the razor close and tilts it around my peripheral vision, I notice the grip has a serrated edge. 7 sharp points of varying size and shape on a grip of dull ivory. He touches it to my skin and I realize what it is. I say nothing. With total grace, he slides the blade over my cheek. Now I can't say anything. What would I say if I could speak? His practiced hands make short work of the task. This is a man who's done this for as many hours as any barber. When he's done, he folds the blade and presses it into my bloody palm. Don't forget the other pieces. Well, maybe next time we meet we could play a game? Chess? Or perhaps billiards? We can play chess. I like chess. Wait! Yes, let's do billiards. I whip around. Not there. It's like he was never there. The razor's still in my hand. 7 sharp points along the razor grip. Whereas the grip of the comb, which has a similar curve, has 7 holes. Atop the bony body of the hairpin, 9 loose teeth have been strung together to look like flowers. Split into 3 discrete pieces. Split into 3 discrete pieces. The lower half of someone's jaw rests in my hands. Why do we have an inventory system? After that strange encounter, I desperately need normalcy. Retreating to my bedroom, I slam the next section of documents on the table and bury my head in the driest details on offer. I calculate sale taxes, I cross-reference details about extension permits, I note depths of water lines. Anything to stop me thinking about the pieces of human jawbone I stuffed at the bottom of my suitcase. I absolutely will not think about it. I will think about condition reports instead. I drop my pen and open my suitcase. Digging through it, I find the pieces of jawbone. Someone has engraved the razor piece with a floral motif. The teeth have been plucked from the grip of the comb, looped into makeshift daisies to decorate the top of the hairpin. The more I look at it, the more disgusted I become. It's not right, desecrating someone's body parts like this. I've got to dismantle them. There aren't any scissors or pliers or pry tools in my bag, but I bet I can find some around the room. Let's check the desk first and then we'll do nightstand and wardrobe. The drawers of the desk seem empty, but the compartments look shallower than the exterior. I feel around the edges of the top drawer and find an unsettled false bottom. Beneath it is a selection of letter journals, along with some loose papers and a stationery set, all in Romanian. It's impossible to read anything but the initial the unsealed letters are signed with M. M for what? A name, probably. Let's check the nightstand. The nightstand is already full with all the useful items you'd expect: matches, candles, a torch. Even a set of pliers in a box with odds and ends of hardware, nails and screws and wood glue. Tucked in the rear corner is what looks like an antique spruce talking board. A worn planchette on brass casters sits upturned on top. Instead of the Latin alphabet, there are 72 unfamiliar symbols inscribed on the board. Phony, crude mass-market spiritualism, but the beliefs of others can be a thread of their own. It's a creepy discovery regardless of whether it has any power. Let's check the wardrobe first. The wardrobe is half empty. There's enough space to put my clothes, but the other half is taken up by an assortment of suits and outerwear, with shoes in a row along the bottom. The drawers are the same, empty on the left, squished full of undergarments on the right. Nothing is modern, but it ranges from a few decades old to several centuries. While I'm sorting through, I find something hard in the pocket of the most recent suit. It's a utility knife. Luckily, it's just jewelry wire holding the teeth together, so it cuts easily. Whatever securing the blade and comb to the jawbone grips has gotten brittle. Those pry apart fine. Once I've wiped the edges clean of glue residue... Huh? The loose pieces jitter across the floor in front of me, trembling autonomously over the boards. Like there's a weak magnetism between them. Teeth roll towards jaw pieces shark toward each other. The teeth rattle into their sockets. The sides twist and flip until they flank the front section. There's a hiss like a sword being quenched as they fuse back together. It's a complete lower jaw now. I have a million questions about why there was a disembodied jaw hidden in the bathroom, and almost as many about the belongings left around the bedroom. What happened to the former occupants? It all leads back to one man. I wonder if he's still in the parlor. Ah, Master Renfield. I was just about to turn in for the night. Did you receive my note? I'm here to work, so I chose to work. But you made it in the end. Wonderful. Obviously, we're well past tea time, but perhaps some brandy or a cigar? I'm not a smoker, and the drink would help a lot, but the billiard table has caught my eye. The man in the bathroom mentioned liking billiards. I've never played. This could be an opportunity to learn. How about... There's a noise at the door. Got the smokes? Oh. Personally, I'm keen for a cigar. Come in. The stylish woman from last night enters. Well-heeled and well-dressed as any shopper I'd see along Ciruam, all dolled up, only she has nowhere to go. When she scowls at me, I feel like I'm back in secondary school. She presses a cigar box into Dracula's hands, but before she separates from him, takes one out and lights it for herself. She blows the smoke in my face. We never got a proper introduction. That's your own fault. Master Renfield, this is Cesara, one of my brides. Cesara. Cess is fine. As a lady of the house, you're owed a certain amount of respect from the help. Am I now? You're my bride. Yeah, your middle bride. If you're not going to be polite, go somewhere else. Okay. He pushes past towards the door, trailing smoke. As she reaches the frame, she leans an arm on it and turns back to look at me. Hope last night didn't scare you too much. With a toss of her hair and a flick of ash, she leaves the room. Her attitude is an acquired taste, if he says so. A cigar, Master Renfield? No, thank you. What can I offer then? A game of billiards? Excellent idea. What rules? I haven't played enough to know the difference. We'll play 8-ball then. He sets the table. We do our shots to find out who's playing first. Unsurprisingly, he gets it. Why come down after avoiding me all night? I wasn't avoiding you. Like I said, I was working. Work is an excellent way to avoid someone. I hope you had fun working. He breaks. It's a good shot. How's it going then? On track? Got everything you need? Oh, yes, plenty. I take some shots. He takes some shots. He's better than me. I appreciate the refresher on the rules, though. Above my room. What about it? Is that your stuff in the drawers? It's our lost and found. Past visitors. I was going to compliment you on the jackets. Oh well. Not half bad, but not my size. Were they all left by the same guest? He glares as he pockets another ball. I smile listlessly and manage to pocket two. Be careful around the castle. I'm always careful. Are you now? Pocketing his last ball, he wins the game. Damn it. Thank you for the entertainment. And thank you for the advice. Good night, Prince Dracula. Good night, Master Renfield. I take the cue from him and stand with it for a moment, sizing him up. Then I put both of them in the rack and exit. It was good to get some practice, and a better sense of the situation. Why doesn't he want to talk about the past guests in the tower? What happened to them? To him. I don't doubt for a second Dracula's warning is genuine. I have to be careful if I don't want to be disassembled and used for parts myself. Settling under the blankets, I stare up at the canopy. There's a constant draft in the tower. The chiffon curtains draft in and out from the bed, breeze with the air currents, weak unceasing motion. Like pale sheets of snow. There are no curtains in the bathroom. For anyone to see anything, both parties would have to stand in precise locations. One on the neighboring rooftop, one against the window, which meant the landlord never saw the need to add any. Nevertheless, it's discomforting to look out and know the world can look in. Snow falls over Berlin. Typical February weather. But it's light and the radio babbles from the hall as I light in my bath, the signal steady for the moment. From where I'm lying, I can see the hazy mid skyline. Snow comes down, boilers vent up, everyone struggles to stay warm. Surrounded by hot water and bubbles, I breathe slowly and appreciate being home. Tomorrow I'll be in Romania. Berlin hasn't been totally hospitable to me last year's election. Any sensible person would be terrified. But there's not a nation in Europe that treats me in all facets as I wish to be treated. Nowhere is good, just better, or worse. Which will Romania be? I sweep the water over my chest, tracing half-healed scars, and try to forget the world outside. Home in these walls. Central steam heating, green glass ceramic tiles, a porcelain sink, locked windows, long narrow corridors, tight rooms with parquet floors, electric lamps and a fridge and a stove. Safe heaven of a made man. I am a made man. I have made it to safety. Tomorrow I'll leave my building, survive another week, and make it home by the end. Will you? Now the view is almost all white. Must be a record no-fall. Unsurprisingly, the signal fades to gentle static and the radio broadcast stops. I don't like the ambience. The water's cooling. Between the drifts there's a burst of blue light. A meteor shower? I wish it were a clear night. I would have liked to see. Is it visible from outside? Apologies for the interruption. We'll now be resuming our regular broadcast. Stay right where you are and settle in for a classic Liszt's Mephistopolka. Outside is a perfect pale void. The radio returns. A piano piece that buzzes along at an annoying frequency. It's meant to be jazz hour. How did we connect? The bath has gone cold. If I get out, I can turn the radio off and take a look at the lights from my balcony. When I try to stand, my legs won't move. The water clings like glue. Despite how long I've been in the tub, the bubbles haven't popped. In fact, weren't they waist high before? How did they reach chest height? I can't lift my arms either. I lie limp in the too heavy water, unable to move as the bubbles rise. I'm not drowning here. They can't find me like this. Imagine the headlines. I don't want to imagine the headlines. Sensing every molecule of myself, I explode upward. Lurch onto the tiles, gasp for air, catch the sink for balance. There's no splash. No wet handprints on the porcelain. No damn soul on the bath mat. Oh. Oh no. A red shape lies amidst the bubbles in the water. Its lower jaw has been turned off, and its eyes are gone. Below the waterline, I catch glimpses of an empty chest and incomplete arms. With its short black hair and narrow waist. That's me, isn't it? And I'm... The radio plays static. I step through to the hall to silence it. Too tall, too dry, too dignified. I am a pearl, and the world is my oyster. Oh, that was the shape of the ghost. Wait. There is no hallway. No radio. White noise and darkness. A breeze comes through. The darkness broadens. As my borrowed eyes adjust, the shades separate until I can see the night above and the forest all around. Great wing beats pound through the air overhead. As they pass by, they rain soot and ash. Larger objects fall in its wake. Antique pages with torn edges. I catch one as it slips by my face. A woodcut illustration of someone in silhouette, surrounded by people bent in supplication. Beneath the illustration is a title. Pantamir. I sent this fucking picture to one of my friends and she's gonna be able to tell me everything about it because she's a major in history. And she specializes in fucking medieval history. I'm just sending this to her right now. I'm gonna be like, hey, what's this? When I lower the page, the scene has changed. A throne room, Eastern style, with an upholstered couch. Sat on the throne is a translucent figure who leans forward for a closer look at me. We regard each other. Slowly, the figure extends an arm. They roll their wrist and gesture for me to exit. I shy towards the door. If the Sultan wills it, so it shall be. On the other side is a plain stone chamber from an entirely different country, era, reign. Opposite the throne room is a heavy metal door secured with bars, deadbolts, and massive locks. Through a narrow slit in the door, I see sunlight. Something shifts into place behind the slit. One by one, a series of charred fingers stick through. Please. Leave. Now. The occupant drags their face to the bars. Amidst the melted flesh is a pair of sharp green eyes. Nobody wants me here. How do I escape? Where is home? Fleeing along the stone corridor, I make it back outside into a courtyard. Snowing. Meteoric lights flash in the sky, thrown from the atmosphere, to land in the mountains beyond. The gates are open. I run for the hills. Amidst the peaks is a perfect pale void, stumbling through the banks and drifts that keep focused on the dim aura ahead. That blue glow behind the white The snow deepens. Knees, hips, waist, chest. I am consumed by the cold. A hand reaches for mine. It pulls me from the snow. Oh. I'm carried half conscious to the edge of a large box, dropped unceremoniously into a frigid concrete bath. While I sputter and shiver and shake, a grate slides across the top, trapping me inside. Hey, you're not the ghost! My rescuer straddles the box and peers through the grate. Leaving so soon, Dracula straddles the box. No. Good. Abandonment is the cruelest kind of treachery. Reaching out of sight, he takes hold of something. Why not stay forever? A bright silver knife. I think we're currently experiencing the last moments of the ghost. I think that's what's happening. We have forever, don't we? The smile he wears doesn't reach his eyes. The knife lingers in the space between us. When we move... Get out! The world ends. 16 February 1931. In the morning, the relative morning, the wrong 6 o'clock, I'm awoken by the sound of traffic. Staring into the window, I see a convoy of horses, riders, carts, and carriages clatter into the courtyard at the front of the castle. This tower is angled over a ravine, but peering to the side, some of the pass is visible. There's a smell to investigate too, another delicious breakfast. Today it's a kind of frittata, with tomato relish. Whatever happens on this trip, at least I'll have had a good final meal. I sit down to eat and resolve to visit the courtyard after. Several dozen people are here. At the edge of the courtyard, I see some of them opening stable doors and feeding their horses. People are muttering, gossiping, conspiring all around in all sorts of languages. Hungarian, Russian, Greek, Turkish, German. The short bride, Theodora, converses with a woman in Romanian. High above, on the battlements, the ragged bride, Alina, watches like a gargoyle. There's no sign of Dracula or Sess. Excited to meet new, less hostile people, I cross the courtyard to join Theodora's conversation. Good evening. Oh, you're so pretty! Hi. They both fall silent as they turn to face me. Theodora considers her words carefully. Good evening, Master Renfield. Una. The Englishman. The Englishman. My reputation precedes me. I don't think that's a good thing, sir. What brings you and yours to the castle? Castiel. Nimic. We trade. Many like to trade with the prince, or his princesses. She flashes a longing look at Theodora. She anxiously tries to ignore her. You have some countrymen here. Why not talk to them? From England? Paying closer attention to the medley of languages, I hear a Cornish accent near the flashiest car. Shh! Sis, it's okay. He'll be here to help soon. A man comforting someone hidden in the back seat. As I approach, he rapidly evaluates my clothes. See? The Lord sent a concierge. Hey! Huh? Sorry, just a lawyer. A lawyer? Selling Dracula a property. It hurts! Shh, shh, shh. A girl in her late teens jolts straight in her seat. It hurts! She's emaciated and covered in sweat, hair a mess over her face. Not long, not long, not long. A trio of nearby visitors shuffle uncomfortably at the girl's crying. I'm uncomfortable too. I don't want to ask anything inane like, is she okay? Obviously not. But I don't know how to help either. Not acknowledging her seems worst of all. You're here to visit Prince Dracula, miss? She whines, neither affirmative nor negative. Do you think he can save her? Is that his gift then? Face healing? The Rasputin routine? It's all a rip-off as far as I'm concerned. If they're this desperate, it seems cruel to say no. To say so. I don't want to say the first one. I don't know. See, because I'm basing my answers a bit of like knowing the novel, knowing all of the novel stuff, obviously, right? And obviously this game is inspired by the novel to a degree. Obviously, right? So I'm gonna go with the last choice. Nobody should have their hope exploited like this. Vultures positioning someone so they'll die where they can be fed on, profiting from an inevitable death. It's cruel to him and it's cruel to his sister. Both of them deserve the truce and a peaceful end. Not this desecration. How could you... His voice catches in his throat. The worst part is that he doesn't want to hear it. This is between us and the prince, anyway. And miracles are for believers. It hurts! Before her screaming can scare everyone from the courtyard, a new figure arrives. Seth steps from the castle. The crowd falls silent around her as she crosses to the car. She draws a small, clear bottle from the pocket of her coat and presses it into the Englishman's hand. For her pain. The Englishman accepts wordlessly. Please! He turns to his sister, uncorks the bottle, and tips the contents into her mouth. Like a child, she panics, almost spits it out, swallows with a sour expression. Within a moment, she relaxes, her eyes flutter closed. She lies across the back seat of the car, breathing slowly. Seth relaxes too. You're here to meet the prince? Yes, are you... Come inside, we'll find somewhere for her to rest and you can have a meal. Too kind, too kind. It would be cruel not to offer. The Englishman takes his sister from the car and proceeds inside. Seth doesn't move. She regards Theodora coldly. Theodora is unflinching, though the supplier she's talking to becomes anxious. Then Seth shoots a look at me. At last she leaves. The courtyard remains quiet. Not for long. Theodora and her supplier move alongside me. Have you seen her smile? No, should I have? 20 years, not a smile. Everyone is afraid of her. Now, Nico, she's just troubled. Trouble? Yes, she is trouble. She troubled you yet, Englishman? I draw a sharp breath. Yeah, no, actually, she has been quite rude. I'm not gonna lie about that shit. Always. Oh, sorry, it's Nico. Always. Unless you're in the jaws of death, she is rude. Theodora's iron will bends for a moment to reveal hidden concern. She regards me like a child stuck in the middle of a flooding river. I'm curious about the status thing, 1 second. Hey, what does this mean? What do you mean, danger? What do you mean, danger? Oh, we can actually, that's nice. What do you mean, danger? There's nothing she can do to save me from whatever current I'm caught in. Don't worry, Master Renfield. The rest of us have your best interests at heart. Am I gonna die? I mean, at least I got a ghost boyfriend. We can both be ghost boyfriends. Who? El va trae. Also, I'm not the one who speaks Romanian in my family. So, I apologize for all the mispronunciations happening. Be cautious, Englishman. Always am. Are we? With a little bow, I turn to leave. The cobbles are slick and I almost fall over. Are we? Truly? I'm fine. Before I can make it further into the castle, I'm intercepted by the man himself. Quite a crowd today. Not going to greet them yourself? Their brides take care of it. They certainly do. Back to work? Yes, nice to see visitors, but they've got their jobs and I've got mine. I think when next choice I'm going to try and get it so that my boldness isn't so high, because I'm scared of it affecting the danger level. Later tonight. We entertain some of the guests in the Great Hall, and it can get rowdy. The tower should be far enough away that it doesn't bother you, but... Ignore the commotion? Of course. You'll be brought your dinner like usual. Have a pleasant evening, Master Renfield. And yourself, Prince Dracula. He sweeps off along one of the many unmapped corridors. Despite what I told him, I'd like to take a look around the house before I return upstairs. I got a lot done yesterday, avoiding the family, so there's not much time pressure, and avoiding the family meant I saw barely any of the house. There's time for a couple of tasks. Now, where to start? Oh, we can only go for 2 places. I think I'm gonna go for look somewhere to brush up on billiards. And I'm curious about the Englishman saying. I wander around a bit and find all sorts of places. Dining rooms, guest rooms, a drawing room, a dance hall. Then I hit the jackpot. A library. Spread over multiple rooms and levels with tens of thousands of books inside. This is incredible. Naturally, I gravitate toward the law section, which is jammed between spirituality and healthcare. Everything is properly cataloged like a real library. Exciting! Pulling out a book on Romanian common law, I stop to read it. Interesting. I never considered that, Oh, what a good idea. Yes. Hey. Ah! I slammed the book shut. Dumpy. Maybe the ghost has competition. I thought I was alone. I thought... Oh, you're done with that man and his sister? How have they calmed down? They're resting. Looks as though she could use a rest herself. There's no shine in her eyes, just flat mad exhaustion. I probably shouldn't ask. She's probably the only one who'll answer true. I probably shouldn't ask. She's probably the only one who'll answer truthfully. Does Dracula really heal people? She flinches. Not really. Just a good job faking it. If it's fakery, why does any of the caravan come back? There's other deals he can do. They ask us for favors, he fulfills them. There's other deals he can do. They ask us for favors, he fulfills them. How feudal. Yeah. A feudal lord in the wrong country. In the wrong century. Okay, I can read. Settling into the conversation, she slouches back against the shelves. How he and Toradora like it. What were you gossiping about with her and her stupid girlfriend? Oh my god. Seth has been honest with me. Best to return the courtesy. You, of course. Of course. She folds her arms over her chest. Someone's gonna run people away before they get eaten. But those two think it's fine to be a predatory business as long as it's a family business. I'm getting closer to the truth of this place. Better press the advantage. Predatory how? This castle tears people apart. Quite literally, too. It's still just a job to you. You think you'll go home in a few days, same as any other assignment, same as ever. Admittedly, it is a creepier assignment than usual. Once he's got you in his castle, though, you're like a fly in a web. And he's the spider. Is he the spider, or is it you, ma'am? And above him are the birds and the cats and a million higher orders of animals. That's feudalism for you. I try to get people out of the web. When I can't, I try to make being stuck in it painless. Am I in the web? She won't answer. That'll be a yes. How can I possibly follow on from that? I walk back to the legal section and look for the shelf to return my book to. Wait. There's other law books. If you're ever interested. He leads me to the opposite corner, a bookcase with a lockable glass front. Everything inside looks unfathomably old and expensive. Some of them are even bound in unrecognizable materials. Strange letters and kittens. What is this? An occult section? Surprised? Oh, Occulted law books. Would you be interested? I would! If I get bored? Sure. Might be a bit of fun. May I have a key? Not locked. The door's there to keep the dust out. I reach for the handle. Then think better of it. Thank you for showing me. She folds her arms and looks away. Not boring any? The work upstairs is urgent. For now, maybe. You think that'll change? If we're unlucky? And I don't know about you, but I'm always unlucky. Unsure how to respond, I give her a little wave. Good evening, says. Pass her the book. And step from the room. I like debating because I don't think there's maybe there is a chance to meet the ghost in some way here, but I'm too curious about the Englishman thing, man. I creep around the ground floor, confident they won't have taken them deeper into the building. The halls are quiet, except for the usual creaks and shifts of a place this age. At last, I pass a room with someone inside. I'd expect it to be the girl and her brother, but it's just a girl. She's out cold on the bed. Someone's tucked her in and given her a wet cloth for her fever. Where's her brother, though? Passing the kitchen, I hear Dracula's voice. Frustrating that it's short-dated. We took what we could get. And the suppliers. Hi, Nico. Hello again. Master Renfield. I thought you'd gone to your room. Had a chance to relax yet? Nico, was it? She outright flinches. Nicoletta. Miss Popescu to you. My apologies, Miss Popescu. Did you want anything in particular from the kitchen? No, I was just looking for that Englishman and thought you might know where he went. They look at each other. Well, you see, you're in the right place. He's our dinner. Enjoying the prince's hospitality. Yes, he's being entertained by Cesara. Funny, we were just talking in the library. Oh. Would this dialogue have been different if I had gone here first? Wait. Oh. Melina, then. I don't remember which. Of your brides? Miss Popescu's lips narrow. Is there a problem? No, I'll leave you both to it. Thank you. Get out. She doesn't mean that. She meant that. And so I make my exit. They resume talking as I walk away. Short days are such a nuisance. Now we have no choice but to use the lesser cut tonight and the other later. Are we talking short dates with the sick girl? Because she's sick and therefore not gonna be fresh for long? Is that what we're talking about? What was I supposed to do? Bring us something edible. Nicoletta, Nico, I give you protection, but I can take it away whenever I like. Everything else too. What if I take the food you are ungrateful for and your lawyer and drive? What will happen then? I don't know, but neither of us will like it. Nor will Theodora. There's a moment of silence. Then Miss Popescu pushes me into the wall of the corridor she strides by. I take a moment to recover, rubbing the shoulder she hit. From the corner of my eye, I see Dracula lean out of the kitchen door and leer at her back. Then, he's gone. Wandering the halls in the vague direction of the tower, a breeze licks the lights through their bulbs. One by one, some phantom's fingertips pinch them out. Hi, Pookie! Until the last remaining source of light is a pale emanation through the nearest doorway. Familiar doorway, and I know who's on the other side. Oh! Sure enough, when I peer through, I see him. Sorry for almost giving up on you for Cesaro. My bad. A long-limbed man lounging on the pool table, lips pursed in an impatient smile. The bathroom ghost. He swings his legs over the edge as he turns to face me. Evening. You weren't kidding about billiards. Gesturing at the cues, his smile takes on some warmth. Ready to play? He's the only thing on the felt. Where are the billiards? If I kept you waiting, you could have set the table. I barely know how to do it. Alas, I'm stricken with a tragic touch impairment. Didn't seem like a problem last night. There are brains and nerves inside you for me to stimulate. Okay. Why do you say it like that? The table has none of that. However, I pose upon it. It will never pay me any mind. To stress the point, he stretches himself out, drawing his trousers tight. Okay. I clear my throat and focus on the cues. Yes, thank you for the reminder. You're a hallucination. I'm losing it from stress and thirst. Poor drifter, lost in the desert, wondering if the oasis is nothing but a mirage. Don't look at him. In the tower, I must have realized someone used to live there and started to imagine who he was, where he went. Now, having a conversation with myself to decide how worried I should be that I'll meet a similar fate. Dismembered and stashed in a series of undignified hidey holes. Speaking of which, how did you think to check the mirror, if it was your own idea? The cracks got my attention. 5 billiards now. I glance at him by accident. It's a real... He winks at me. Man's game. I avert my eyes. One last question. Am I who you dream of, if you could dream of anyone? Not if he keeps heckling me like this. Let's just play. Ah, a question he couldn't answer. At last he hops from the table, full of fresh energy. Alright, preparing the game. Think hard, what do we need? I fetch the rack from the wall to start with. Setting on the mark, I scoop the balls from the pockets and add them to the triangle in a random order. Okay, you're supposed to put them in the order that the numbers say on the balls! The ghost laughs, hiding his mouse behind his hand for discretion even though he's too loud to ignore. What? That's not how it goes. Oh. Put a stripe in one lower corner, a solid in the other, and the 8-ball in the middle. I follow his directions. Now I'm paying attention, checking the numbers and the signs, and can't help but notice. The 8-ball and the cue ball are lighter than the rest. Huh. Not quite a hollow, but definitely not solid, full of something lower density than their resin exterior. Curious. Since you've set the table, I'll have first turn. Isn't that convenient for him? I remove the rack and set it back on the wall. Everything is ready, except the second player. I summon the cue holder. Don't you need something? But you're right there. Be a sport and... If you're a ghost and not a hallucination, you can get your own cue, levitate or something. This is his house. I'm just living in it. Living? Poor choice of words. The point remains, everything here is Dracula's. Without his permission or an offer from his representative, I can't touch any of it. Convenient? No, inconvenient, beyond your wildest imagination. We're gonna be nice, we're trying to romance him. I lift the cue from the holder and offer it over the table. The ghost accepts what's above his head. According to him, he should be first. I take my own cue from the rack and turn it in my hands as he adjusts the placement of the cue ball. The ghost inhales, out of habit or a sense of showmanship. Crack. He shoots the middle of a wall of the triangle. The balls ricochet everywhere. The game is afoot. We alternate turns, sinking some shots, missing others. He's confident, taking aim at a risky target, almost pocketing some of my stripes. I'm methodical. I don't have the experience not to be. So it's scary that, 5 turns in, he's on 3 and I'm on 1. How's the sale proceeding? Pardon? I almost misfire. A ghost taking interest in the literal business on the bit of the living? It's a shockingly mundane question. The sale papers for Carfax? Why? Just making conversation. He keeps steady. I had a job once. Ordinary duties, ordinary concerns, ordinary physiology. Sure, what were you? Someone's muse? A movie star? A salesman. Who knocked on the wrong door? Didn't I ever? What did you sell? This and that. He puts the cue behind his back and fires a trick shot at the 4-ball. It misses, but nudges the 6 closer to a corner pocket. Talking boards and planchettes, maybe. Huh. The family's black market black magic dealer. Not what I call ordinary. There's stock takes, delivery logistics, and taxes like all retail. The product might be unusual, but selling it isn't. If Miss Popescu is anything to go by, all the castle suppliers are a bit off. He might not be your average peddler, but he fits his working environment. I think a straight shot. What does Carfax matter? Someone's dead, if I take your word for it. Should I be prioritizing paperwork over not lying? He barely glances at the 6-ball as he taps it the last 3 inches into the pocket. Doing your job and avoiding your desk aren't mutually exclusive. Takes a bit of focus, but I rebound the 11-ball from the wall, on one side to the middle pocket on the other. Explain. 4-3, the gap is closing. Dracula isn't planning on killing you. He didn't want to kill me either. If he has a usual piece, he prefers to have it in play, which means that while he believes you're his pawn, I'm safe. Fill out the forms, obey as many rules as possible, be an eager employer and a model house guest. Above all else, his cue dabs the cue ball and sends it on a gentle roll across the width of the table. Do not, clicks against 14, mention me to him. 14 shivers on the edge, but it doesn't fall. This is the best opportunity I've had to press him for actual information. Let's see what I've got. I found an angle on the cue ball that'll separate it from the 14 ball. The shot ricochets from the top of the table to the opposite side. Though I didn't dare hope, it clips the edge of 9 and sends it into a middle pocket. 4 to 4. What is there to mention? You haven't so much as introduced yourself. There might be dozens, hundreds of ghosts in a place like this. Unless there's something special about you, I should know. He fumbles his next move. I'm not in a position to score, but I noticed somewhere I can move the cue ball that'll make things harder for him. I'm not buying what you're selling, Mr. Ordinary Salesman. He scrambles around the table to try and salvage his turn. Why complicate things? Think of it like cruising. The mystery is a crucial part of the appeal. I can be another nameless man in the bathroom, safety and anonymity. You think I've ever been able to go cruising? Our pace increases. Anonymity can also help keep the past a secret. Name suppression laws, for instance, to prevent the public prying into criminal history. The turns come hard and fast. So what's your name? I don't know. Call me Vlad. That's not true. You sign your letters with an M. So did you once. That changed. Oh, you know that, do you? What's your real name? He trains. Yippee! What have you been using? Ghost. Ghost is fine. I am one of a kind. Why? He slams a ball from the top left into the bottom right. Oh, demanding. I launch a ball off the surface and into the air for the briefest moment until it lands in a pocket. Answer the question. We're both at 7 points. Gets the cue ball into the middle of the table. The 8 ball is in line with the pocket, except reaching it will be a stretch. The ghost leans on the edge where I need to stand. An evil smile on his perfect face. Make me. Fine. We can play like that. I shove his shoulders and topple him backwards onto the felt. Oh! Though his earlier interactions set the expectation he'd be solid, I didn't realize he'd move and feel like a regular body. A corpse-cold body. For a moment after we land, I want to panic and apologize. Then I realize his smile has widened and his eyes are eagerly shining. Well? Are you going to take the shot? I raise a knee onto the ledge of the table, resting it between his. My left arm reaches forward past his head. Standing my other leg off the ground, I balance my weight between my hand and his hips. I land the cue over his chest with my right elbow stuck in the air. Now I just have to concentrate. Refuse to be distracted by the surface I'm playing on. He's got a smarmy look on his face. This is what he wanted. Bastard. I take the shot. It sinks. I win. The ghost smile cracks into a tuneful laugh. Felicitari, Glucksmans, congratulations! Dropping the cue onto the table, I prop myself on both hands and prepare to move. He sweeps his hands underneath me and up to clutch the sides of my face. It's like an Arctic crab has lashed onto me, chilly, spindly fingers devoid of warmth and flesh. Whatever gentleness he's had yesterday has been forgotten. He doesn't press hard, but it's not a pleasant sensation. It's important to be selfish here. If there's a choice between saving your own skin and somebody else's, pick yours. We'd all do the same. Then why am I helping you? His finger slips free. He puts his hands to my chest and shoves me like I did him. I stumble back off the table onto my feet. He sits straight up, using only his core strength, easy for someone who doesn't have to work out. Landing on his toes, he prowls around the floor. Because I'm your only hope. Fear flickers across his face at the prospect. Since I won, this is my moment. I level my cue at him like a judgmental pointer finger. Who are you? Why doesn't Dracula want us talking? What kind of help is on offer here? Dripping a hand over his features, he sighs. I tried to take something of his. He took everything from me in return. Without my missing pieces, I can never rest. But if a certain handsome someone could reassemble them, he'd gain a powerful ally. Not just an ordinary salesman. An extraordinarily talented salesman. Modest, too. There's the thought. Do we have a deal, then? Body parts in exchange for phenomenal hauntological power? If Dracula is planning to kill me, it doesn't hurt to have a counter-strategy. Sure. What else am I going to do around here? Work myself to death? I protect the cue and offer a hand for him to shake. He raises a finger to his lips. Actions speak louder than words. Your prize is over there. Using his cue, he indicates the pocket the cue ball and 8-ball went into. As for our next date, how about Einklein Nachtmusik? Figuratively, anyway. I'm not a big Mozart fan. Find us a piano and a decent tune to play. Let's try a duet. You speak German, ja? Ja. There's a particular piece I like. Auf einen Totenacke hat mich mein Weg gebracht. Bro, I haven't done German in over longer than 5 years. I haven't looked at German in so long, I don't remember how to read it. His voice resonates as though its mess of old carpets and leisure furniture is a proper concert hall. You can figure it out. I most certainly cannot. I'll try. Who's that? Her night is over. Clear the table, store the cues, flee the scene. Lingering too long in Dracula's personal lounge will be terribly foolish. Isn't the whole castle his? I'm my own man, so are you. Levare. Every light fixture in the room ignites like a sigh. A blinding, searing, all-consuming flare. Ow! When it dims, he's gone. I circle around the table to the pocket he indicated. Huh. Nothing inside but the mysterious cue ball and 8-ball. Each now has a fine crack on its exterior like a boiled egg. I dig my nails in, try to open them further, but the resin is too thick to pry apart. Below the surface, though, there's a different substance. Pale, lightweight, mushy substance. Just what are they made of? I do some legal work for a while to make sure I don't fall behind. Midway through the evening, my dinner is delivered by Miss Popescu. Moussaka with additional vegetables on the side. It's perfect, moist yet firm. Later, the plate is exchanged for chamomile tea and a shockingly dry square of millefeuille. I pick at them as I go, carefully keeping the vessels across the tabletop from the contracts. The real challenge is making sure I don't drink the inkwell instead of tea. At midnight, I find my hands have moved from the food and the paperwork to the billiard balls. I test their weight again and contemplate what they might be made of. The crack still hasn't widened. I could drop them on the staircase. There are what, 50 or more steps? Anything that falls down the whole flight should break. It doesn't sound like Dracula's party is anywhere near this part of the castle. I'm not likely to get caught. Oh, why not? Let's try the staircase. What's my status? I don't know, my danger is kind of the same. I think we ball. As both balls on the top stair, I peer into the darkness below. Despite assurance, the moonlight doesn't illuminate the steps at all well. Taking a deep breath to calm myself, I push them over the edge. They roll easily and loudly down the steps in view and rebound from the wall around the corner. I can hear them descending the spiral. At a casual walking pace, I follow after them. They lie in the corridor below. The cracks have turned into splits. Resin shells hatch to reveal what's inside. Okay, what horrors beyond the imagination are gonna be inside the fucking billiard balls? Oh, it's ice! Okay! A pupil stares at me from inside the cue ball. That would mean it's a pair of eyes. To protect them from any damage, I close the shells back around them before putting them in my pockets. Out of sight, but not out of mind. It makes my skin crawl to think of what's been done to him. Over and over asking why, why? How does this benefit anyone? What kind of anger drives someone to do this? I linger in the hall longer than I should, lost in thought. Just as I turn to head upstairs. Uh-oh. What was that? Scream. It sounded like the Englishman's sister. Dracula's performing his face healer ritual then. If he is, it isn't working. There's also the possibility her medication wore off. Whichever it is, I can't ignore someone in this sort of distress. Yes, you can! Listen to what your ghost boyfriend said. Do not interrupt weird shit. Go away! Go back up to your room! Too awful to think about. Too awful to reminisce about. A building full of people and no one coming to help because they take your pain as a given. I've got to help. No, you don't. Oh, I like the music though. Regardless of any half-remembered directive from Dracula, or any half-remembered warning from Theodora, I begin to run. The interarch between the screams grows shorter, but the screams grow weaker. It's hard to tell where to turn. I'd intended to use the volume as a guide, but that's not possible. Where is she? Where? Not the guest room. Not the parlor. Not any of the dozens of other doors I pass. Is there some kind of infirmary I missed? But if there were, why wouldn't they have put her in it earlier? Think, Renfield, think. Ah! I don't have to think, I can hear. Terribly close. Through the open doors to the Great Hall. Despite Dracula's claim he'd host a party, there are just 4 people in the room. The 5th is already dead. He stands in the middle of the cluster, the girl's body slumped in his arms. Oh my god. The brides flank him, clutching a shoulder or thigh each. Theodora remains concentrated on her meal. Seth adjusts the shoulder to hide behind it. Elena speaks as she makes eye contact. All of them are biting the girl. Dracula her juggler, Theodora unsets her wrist, Elena has torn through the sick veins in her leg. They see me and stare, but none of them can wrest themselves from their prey. Even Dracula, pride and regal, lets his composure loose out to his thirst. I'm locked in place too. From fear. There's too much wrong in the building to be wholly surprised, but knowing there's a wolf in the woods doesn't prepare you to face it. Rather than let this awful moment continue, I open my stupid mouth to ask the stupidest question I've ever thought of. Is she okay? Well, he wasn't wrong about being the stupidest question he's ever asked. Like a dog caught with a chicken from the coop, Dracula living slowly, his pupils focusing on his jaws unclamping from her neck. His goatee is dyed solid red with her blood. There's a moment of wordless trembling before his mouth is able to form words. Renfield, pet, no. She's dead. And I find a way to make it worse. Why? Because the house has needs. And the master must provide. Releasing his grip on her torso, he drops her into the bride's arms where they're able to bite and gnaw even more ferociously. Compared to them, his animalism is restrained. They have focus and shame and spite, but nothing else. no instinct to stop before the well runs dry. He realizes he won't have my attention while the body and the brides are in view. Rather than step around them, he dissipates into pitch-black smoke and surges through the group, coalescing in front of me. For a moment after, he reforms, his eyes have that awful hollow look again and his features are contorted. He extends his hand to me. Not to worry. Your fate will be different. He reaches for me. Finally, my body agrees to move. I slap his hand away and get blood all over mine. Don't touch me. His lips curl into disappointment and disdain. The girl was ill anyway. More morphine than blood. It's a wonder there was enough to feed the family. Glancing back over his shoulder, my gaze following his, he notices the brides entrenched in her arteries. We both wince. Perhaps not enough. Of course, we would have preferred her brother. Her brother. What did you do to him? I stumble back. Nothing. Calm down. Where is he? Shh, Roger. I wish I knew. He's out there somewhere. If I could find him, together we could escape. Or I could escape by myself. Shuffling and staggering, pace uneven, steps unequal, I retreat to the doors and pound my hands on the wood, desperate to find the handles. What are you doing? You've got blood on you. Stay back! At last, they open. Stumble halfway through, pivoting as I go, and barely catch myself before I hit the marble floor of the foyer. The momentum carries me into sprint. Wait, we can play another round of billiards and I can explain. Careening across the foyer towards the exit, I'm suddenly obstructed by Miss Popescu. Locked. I've words before she can catch me. That way's out. Get on the outer wall, jump. The castle is connected to the cliffside too. What if there's a tunnel? Dracula is at the threshold of the great hall, stressed but moving steadily. The bride's starting to come around behind him. He paces through. Miss Popescu suds closer, posture low, ready to dive and grab on his cue. Careful where you take that red hand. Rather than signal for Miss Popescu, he shrugs and folds his arms. But it's an opening. Continuing around to the right, I disappear into the ground floor corridors. Find the sky, find a breeze, find a way out. Fuck that, we're rescuing ourselves. We're doing what Ghosty said. They aren't pursuing, but that means he's still in the foyer, blocking the front door. At first I zigzag through the west side of the castle where that door to the stable would be, but I remember the caravan in the courtyard, the caravan that gave them a man and his sister, and I know the courtyard is too risky from any approach. What about alternate exits? Maybe I take the ramparts to the gatehouse, perhaps the basement leads somewhere? I don't encounter any stairs up, so I take a flight down. There are purposeful footsteps in the distance. Nobody's in much hurry to find me. They aren't worried I'll escape. It's possible that fleeing was futile. I don't want to know if it was. Just letting them do that to me is unsinkable. Run until your legs stop moving. Run, fast and far to somewhere safe. Pretend there's gunfire and wire and shells. Any man your age ought to know how to dodge them. Feel the rawness of your lungs and as you're strained for breath. Slippery ground underfoot, but you must not fall. Imagine you're him. Keep ahead of the danger. Make it home. The footsteps are even further away. Underground, the castle is damp. For a moment, the numbing cold is a relief on my throat, but the temperature dips too low and breathing becomes a struggle again. I slow to a jog, wrap my arms around myself, and try to figure out which direction I'm facing. Dozens of identically dimly gaslit passages all around. Before I can totally lose track of myself, I feel a breeze tickle the slick, frigid hair on the back of my neck. There's a gap in the rocks, somewhere. Ignoring the metallic clacks in the distance, I follow the breeze's lead. A silver door set in silver bars blocks the passage. There's a keyhole, but when I touch the handle it moves, and I'm able to pass through. Allowing it to close behind me, I'm startled by how loudly it sunk shut. As I glance over my shoulder, I make a terrible discovery. There is neither a keyhole nor a handle on the side. I spin fully around and shake the bars. They don't budge. It's a one-way door. Nothing to do but press on. Chains on the walls, large cages, more barred doors. This was a well-used dungeon. Further ahead, there's a large chamber. It should be a guard station or full of torture devices or anything other than what's there. A lavish set of furniture with the upholstery turned to shreds. Too pleasant for prisoners, too damaged for guards. Whose is? The clacks are closed now. The footsteps of someone wearing spurs or steel-clapped boots. Miss Popescu? Though she's only a few corridors back, her pace is slow, assuming I'll hit a dead end soon. Everyone else knows the castle better than I do. No reason to think she's wrong. Except for the breeze. It's stronger, louder, actually audible now. The passage must be nearby. I pass the strip lounge and the disemboweled four-post bed into darkness. The lights are finally out. Unable to see, I hone in on the breeze and hope the ground is level. It is, to a point. I stumble over a loose stone but catch my fingertips on the wall to my left before I fall. Pause for a moment. When my eyes adjust, there's nothing to see. The hallway stretches ahead without any doors or branches or intersections until it dims back into darkness. Nothing around but the ceaseless clacking. Behind me, maybe 100 feet at the start of the hallway. Here we are. A fire into a sprint. Miss Popescu does too. The further along the hallway I make it, the darkness should lighten, shouldn't it? Instead, in case new depths takes on a texture. A whole heap of loose stones strip me on my face. I lose my glasses in a slope of rubble. The rubble starts low, climbs within a couple of inches of the ceiling, and continues who knows how far. There was a collapse. This passage is blocked by an obstruction that lets a little air through, but nothing, nobody else. Fuck this shit, we're crawling over it. One hand, one knee, another hand, another knee. I find my glasses as I push forward. The slope is steep, the rubble unstable, and yes, I'm too big for the gap. If the breeze can slip past, why can't I? Why can't I? Near the top. There's at least 10 feet of debris ahead. But I fit an arm through and reach like it's a matter of willpower. Something grabs my ankle. Long, hard, knife-like fingers that pierce the skin on contact. Which do not belong to Miss Popescu. Sharp, silverly mass in the dark. Someone's entire cutlery drawer welded into a humanoid sculpture. The thing yanks me back beneath it. Whirls, kneeing my sides, gauging my suit until it straddles my waist with its metal fist punched into my shoulders. I rise, listening to either side like a boat, in case I can tip it off. Too heavy for that, an anchor stout midship. It keeps us in our places. It knows I can't move. It leans in close. Here, where I can smell its iron breath, I see where it's a person beneath the jagged armor. A helmet obscures their face. If it were brighter here, I could peer in, but without any light, there is nothing but metal and rage. A prisoner of the castle, a man in an iron mask, some poor soul abandoned by Dracula. Is this ghosty? I think this is ghosty. They open their fists and flatten their hands along my neckline. The claws prick through my jacket collar. Those aren't what hold me down. Through tiny perforations in the leather palms of the gauntlets, thin strands of flesh poke out like roots through the base of a flower pot. But the flesh is mobile, wriggling and searching, winding across my chest. One gauntlet worms from my chest to my wrist. The flesh extends around it, forming a bracelet, the gauntlet flapping into place behind it. Stunned by what I've just seen, I forget to fight back. The thing raises my hand to the grill of their helmet. Beneath the grill I see the slightest unnatural motion, the formless flesh of their face reaching towards the bars but shying from contact with the glinting silver. Instead, a mass of tendrils venture out, sizzling as they slip between the gaps to sample the dead girl's dried blood. Whatever this thing is, they are no mere victim. Taste of blood isn't enough. Without letting go of my hand, they raise their other gauntlet to open the grill and expose the rest of the desperate mouse. I try to snatch my arm back. The warm palm has me snared. The spindly flesh of their other hand forms a shape around the helmet latch. The grill winds open. There's something head-like inside, gaping and hungry. No! Bad! A foot kicks into their armored side with an urgent boxing bell clang. The thing is sent flying. I flinch back from the action, clutching my arms to myself and curling my legs in. They clatter against the wall like an appended dish rack, stunned. Squinting through the darkness, I try to catch a glimpse of my savior. It's... Ooh! Hello! What do they say about the devil, you know? Not you. I'd say something like your knight in shining armor is here. The new flesh thing heaves onto their feet. The old small creature kicks it back into the corner. If this isn't Ghosty, Ghosty might have competition, I'm sorry. But I guess that's that guy. Come on, let's not stick around. You tried to ki- Everyone's lining up to shoot their shot. I was just at the front of the queue. I shuffled backwards to put some distance between us. Oh no, it's the smoke Dracula. Never mind, I take it back. And almost reverse into the flesh thing. Smoke sighs, bends slow and grabs my clean ankle. He pulls me out of reach of the thing just as I take a swipe. Hanging me upside down like the catch of the day, I stretching his grip in protest, but he holds fast and swings me the rest of the way into his arms. The thing keeps coming for us. He ignores it, angling himself this way and that, wherever it's between me and my attacker. They don't seem interested in his brittle charcoal body. All they're after is blood, like everyone else around here. If Moog just wants to throttle me, that arguably means he's the lesser of all the evils I've encountered. I like how one of the just let him know you don't like him rescuing you. I'm not gonna resist, I'm not stupid. If I resist, I'm gonna get killed. I'm gonna say the middle option. This is the demo, I can make choices. Why the change of heart? Ever tried to strangle someone? It's actually pretty hard, takes a while. Had second thoughts. Oh, okay, this is who tried to strangle us. Okay. So maybe Ghosty does have competition. For every scratch the thing puts on him, fire bursts from the wound, sealing it and replenishing the charcoal in a mere moment. I still don't trust you. Good. Last person who did came out worse for it. Enemy of my enemy, that's all this is. Anything else is risky business. Realizing the futility of their actions, smart enough at least to realize the futility, the thing slows and stops halfway along the corridor. Watch out, it sparks worse than its bite. How could that possibly be true? Behind us, there's a rattle click of armor plates, jittering through an unseen motion. You'll be safe, but I can't guarantee you won't be sore. Smoke crushes me into his chest, using his bulk to provide extra protection. On cue, the thing lets out a brain-piercing shriek. My mind breaks. The basement disappears. Nothing but darkness remains. Then, the stars come out, bursting outwards from the center of my vision until they form an unimaginably thick canopy overhead. Endless, endless, endless stars. Until I look around to discover obstructions left, right, above, below. My field of vision bounded by great black trees. A whisper in an unfamiliar voice says, "Vo Ducratesca." Crossroads in the middle of a forest clearing. I've been lying in the dirt at the absolute center because it is boring here. The commander said to wait for stragglers and show them through the trees to camp. The stragglers haven't arrived. The stars have, though, constellations to observe or name. I am 12, as bored as I am, happy to get a few hours freedom from being a military errand boy. Andromeda is bright enough to see by the naked eye. Orion, Pleiades, the Ursas, and something cracks through the tree line. I sit up. A grim, gray shape awaits at the edge. One of the soldiers I've been waiting for. It must be. He strides from the trees and the shadows trail behind him, like a robe made of the unlit parts of the sky. Aga? No amount of starlight brings his features into definition, but his shape against the bright night becomes terribly clear. A winged and tailed mockery of a human form, bringing a darkness that threatens to eclipse everything. I failed as a guide, but I can still serve as a scout. I vault to my feet and turn from the figure as it races into the sky with pounding wing beats. The meadow is wider than I realize. It'll take a perilous number of steps to reach the opposite edge, all the while the figure's wing beats approach. A thunderous voice resounds from above. Oprestete! No. Here are the trees, here are the branches to seek for it to fly through, the safe arms of the forest enveloping me. So I must focus carefully on not colliding with any myself. But I am 12, and I am a healthy, athletic, ideal young man, and ahead is the Sultan himself, who needs to be warned of the threat. There's no chance of a collision. Were collision to happen, I would recover instantaneously. Failure is impossible. Failure will kill me as sure as this devil. Amidst the twisting, twining trees, their high branches and low roots and thick trunks in between, the treachery of my own hands, I push onward toward success. Bursting onto the bald hill where everyone made camp this afternoon, I come face to a dozen faces with a line of archers, their bows pointed at me. Uncle stands in a gap at the center of the line. He keeps his arm steady, the arrows nocked, even his expression unmoving. Any surprise, any desire to flinch, fully suppressed. Oh boy. Oh dear. All it would take is one man's will to fail, and I'd be shot. Why were the archers in position? Little by little, pain and regret seep through his eyes. Calculations click about in his mind. This is not the situation he anticipated. Doesn't matter. He's adaptable. Damnably adaptable. Burayagel! At last, Uncle calls out. I am welcome at his side. His face twists as he yells for me to join him. This was not a given. Something is being lost in exchange for my safety. How am I supposed to know what's been traded away? I cross no man's land to be with him. 12, an age where you're supposed to have quit your sentimentality. The first child garment everyone is meant to outgrow. Yet we embrace each other tight. When I look over the barriers and between the archer's shoulders, I see the devil at the foot of the hill. Obscured in his own smoke, but for a pair of gold eyes, he glowers and maintains his own gargoyle-like pose. Locating me in the folds of Uncle's coat, he tenses and ceases. We had a deal. Sacrifice like I have sacrificed, or suffer like I have suffered. You condemned yourself. He's not a token to be traded and struck from the board at your leisure. No. The devil draws himself to his full height, joints cracking audibly despite the distance between us. The archers adjust their aim to his new position, putting a lurid, wry smile on his face. But everyone else is. Heed me. He is yours at the price of every other soul under an Ottoman banner. Protect him until your dying breath. See if anyone else cares to. Discover the limits of your precious Mehmet's heart. Inhaling, the devil brings his dread aura close to him. He leaps into the sky like a firework. Charred limbs and shrieking men lie in his wake. Rather than let me stare, Uncle tucks my head into the lapel of his coat and gestures for aid from the troops on standby. We withdraw towards his tent. I'm ashen from what I did see, trembling, terror-cold despite the heat of the moment. The chill worsens as His Excellency, the Sultan, Mehmet, emerges from the tent ahead of us. Yes, there is a look to make one's blood freeze in its vessels. Love, what has happened? Why is he still here? Oh. 17 February 1931. Jolting upright, someone's palm intercepts me and pushes me back into the care of my bed. Not yet. You're injured. When I hear his voice, I lurch forward again. This time he shoves me back with an audible impact into a damp imprint from a sweaty, restless night. How many of those horrors were a dream? I know our behavior was troubling. It could have all been a dream. Troubling, but necessary. No. What happened in the Great Hall, that much was real. The chase through the castle, too. I don't think I've got my breath back yet, however many hours it's been. What about the dungeon? The girl wasn't long for this world. We take the sick, the melancholy, the impoverished. Society has already chewed them up, spit them out. Our sharp teeth finish the job cleanly. If it soothes your conscience, encourages your cooperation, tell yourself we're being merciful. Dracula's hands grip the upper edge of the blankets and he pulls them to my chin, trapping me under the covers. Unable to shift or turn, I stare into his eyes. From now on, for your own sake, you will obey. It was suicidally stupid of you to run, to say nothing of entertaining the dungeon alone. I like to think the general made it clear why. I'm gonna go with the first option, actually. The general? Dracula's mouth opens, but it takes him a moment to decide which words will come out. The creature you encountered, a former general of mine, centuries ago, damaged beyond repair. Since he's hopelessly maimed and hopelessly mad, we take care of him like your own personal asylum. Something to that effect. With a scoff, he leans back in his seat. All that said, you're lucky Cesara was there to help this time. Tess came to the rescue? I didn't see her. What did she... That's interesting. She claimed you'd spoken. Or she's back to her old tricks. He presses his lips together. Does his tricks being... Oh. Ow! Our discussion yesterday, we seem to be getting along, but she's... No, that must have been an act. Thank her when you see her. I can't stop fucking yawning. Assuming you're able to leave the tower anytime soon, last night took a toll. Shallow scratches run everywhere over me. The thing in the basement, the general, didn't do a number so much as a whole phone directory. But the worst is my leg. The general gouged through the heel and left several lateral cuts across my shin with that first grab. Ooh. I think my Achilles tendon might be torn. Ooh, that's like my biggest fucking phobia, genuinely. Since the stairs don't have a banister, Dracula is right. I'll be stuck in this room unless someone offers help. The ghost asks for a certain date. How will I get to him? If he died here, if he's been trapped here since his death, there must be something he knows about the castle or the family and how to escape them. Believing ghosts is a lot easier in a place full of... vampires. Pardon? You're all vampires. Smile pushes across Dracula's face. Once it's reached its full width, it's pressed open to show his teeth. The fangs. Maybe I thought you were totally oblivious. Watch yourself, an ounce of spilled blood can soon become an ocean. Standing from his seat, he heads for the door, limbs moving with such grace he almost seems to float. A shark sluicing through a ship graveyard. Miss Popescu will take you downstairs after you've done a Miss Popescu will take you downstairs after you've done a satisfactory amount of work. Levare, Ranfield. He's gone. There's nothing to be done but follow his orders. Miss Popescu visits repeatedly over the course of the evening, to clean and dress my wounds, bring light refreshments, empty the new chamber pot, and, with a solemn expression, check what I've written. However much English she has, I know she doesn't speak legalese. I mean, our danger's already bad enough as it is. Let's fill the shit with formal-looking nonsense. Dracula might notice, but the difference between jargon and nonsense is lost on her. I don't want to obey. I won't obey. On her fourth visit, Miss Popescu is satisfied and lends me a hand downstairs. With her taking the weight from my injured leg, it's an easy walk. What'll I do to get around? Are we stuck together? I like to take a bath, but I won't if I can't have privacy. Not that getting in and out alone will be a simple matter. Dracula provides his finest opera cane. When we are done, he will have it back. Kind of him. You're amusing. Harry wants to see what you do. Little bit like a fish tank at a restaurant. Aren't we both in the tank? You're not at all worried I'll eat you too? If it happens, it happens. As promised, there's a cane with a bejeweled head leaning on the wall by the bottom of the stairs. Miss Popescu twirls it around before handing it over. Have fun. Finally, I have my privacy. The house yawns around me, the wind must be picking up. The shifting boards and rattling windows are eerie, even though I struggle to imagine any terrors outside worse than what's housed here. Somewhere in these aching walls are the ghost's other parts. Find what I need to talk to him, learn what he knows about Dracula, avoid the nastier residents to the best of my currently limited abilities. Not as much evening left as I like. 2 or 3 hours at most. Let's look for the ghost sheet music and then the piano. And since we still have 3 places, I might see if we can find anything about the English. Or, you know what? I'm gonna leave this choice for when we do the full game. I'll do the kitchen. Wearing a dedicated music room somewhere, and if it exists, it could take the whole night to find it. Sheet music is probably stored in the library. Will Sess be here today too? Sess who? I'm not sure I want to be left alone with. What's her end goal? Why the disguise? Why throttle me away, quit halfway, change tack overnight, become a dedicated Renfield conservationist? Who is she? Is that even the right word to use? She's directly above me. Heavy. Dusting her hands clean, she swings her legs over the mezzanine rail and follows her book to the floor. Heard you coming. Had something to show you. It's recent. Claws bound. Red. Didn't have to throw it at me. Near you. Don't be so melodramatic. Thought you'd accept I've got good intentions. Right. Dracula explained earlier, but face to face it's harder to reconcile this with that. About last night. Thanks for cooperating. I get that being grabbed by a big scary monster when you're trying to avoid another one would be stressful. But he'd already got his claws in and I figured bold action was required. If I'd known who it was, I would have been less argumentative. Yeah, obviously. So why what is it, a costume? Exoskeleton. It's protective. Not that he'd bite me, just those claws are nasty enough on their own. The shell's stronger, got longer legs, horns are a decent weapon. Look, in my head the whole thing looked different. In the moment, I forgot how other people see the smoke, the horns, everything. To me, it's just, I don't know. Can we talk about something else? Ooh, we unlocked this. I want to know what this is because it's unlockable. I want to know. Not how the exoskeleton looks. It said it tried to kill me. Who doesn't want to be a big, tall powerhouse sometimes? If I dwell on it, I'll get jealous. I've had to settle for being myself. Going from attempted murderer to hero of the hour, though. Like I said, I had second thoughts. That's all the explanation I get? Second thoughts? Isn't it enough that I didn't strangle you? It's hard, by the way, strangulation. You have to look at the person the whole time, and that's a long time. You panicked, I panicked, here we are. Not the most calculated change of heart. How do I know it won't happen again? 'Cause says every time Vladdy hires a new help, uses them to his satisfaction, drains them dry. His plans move a little further along. We lose someone we started to care about. Kill them first, that's two birds with one stone. Sabotage him, protect us. Except I couldn't kill you. What's special about me? Nothing. She looks askance. Is that so? Ugh. Reaching now, she closes her hand into a fist and curls her arm inward, flexing her bicep beneath her sleeve. Hey, Rock. You've had work done, haven't you? I choke on nothing. What? Held you pretty close. Seemed to me there were a few bits missing, however you slice it. I don't mean to be crude, just... Am I right? Are we both different? Oh my god, T for T? Oh, we are so doing Sess's rune on the full... We are so doing her rune in the full thing. That depends. Think back on our past encounters. Our only normal conversation was when we met here yesterday. Sess tiptoed around every topic we approached. This is a good chance to get us speaking directly. Tell me, what's different about you? Sess's eyes wander around the room. I don't think she thought we'd actually have this conversation, whatever it is. Eventually, she lets out a stale breath from between her teeth like a punctured tire. Cows aren't meant to ask how the farmer's feeling, not even the ones who avoid being on the menu. We keep you as pets and stare in those big ol' eyes and think about how merciful we are. That's what you do for us. You asked. Besides, I'm not a cow, I'm a human. Weren't you ever? Sess, how are we alike? I don't know how you ever stopped being embarrassed long enough to see a doctor. Smoke emanates from her, forming a thick cloud that further thickens into a solid mass of charcoal. It encases her, slips underfoot to become a pair of ligamental platforms, extends and bulks out each limb, jets outward in a series of soft spikes. Once a new shape is fully carbonized, those bright eyes open at the top, followed by the sharp teeth. I steel myself, refuse to flinch. Though my heart trembles like a prey animal, beats so fast it vibrates in agony at being this close to such a predator. Sess? A hand slams through the shelves by my shoulder. 5 fingers crush through the spines of 5 hard-bound bugs. I yelled upright but hold position. Up between Sess and the wall I wait, shivering in place. Sess leans in, radiating heat. Afraid? The sonically deep-voiced. I can hear you are. Placing a single claw beneath my chin, raking it along my throat to rest on my chest. But being like this is fun for me. Sweeping the claw back upward, Sess bends it and flicks my nose with a crook of the finger. He leaves an ashy residue that makes me sneeze. Being somebody else. The smile vanishes like smoke on the wind. I can't stand being fodder or decoration or... A girl? Huh. That I've learned to tolerate. Most women aren't tolerating it. See, this is why I didn't want to talk. This is ridiculous. Isn't it enough to not like myself? Take a break from everything that's wrong with her. You're the one who got us on the topic. Because that's why I stopped the other night. Nobody else that's come here has been like you. We stare at each other. Until Seth breaks. Like me. They fall slack, forehead coming to rest on a shelf above my head, chin rustling my hair. Look, we're trying to romance the ghost, but this does not mean that we need to avoid the trans solidarity. Trans solidarity is very important. I'm gonna console them. It'll take a while to figure yourself out. If all I've done so far has caused confusion, that won't last. Knowing brings clarity. Don't need to tell me that, any of that. I've had 10 times as long as you've had. Nobody can get there alone. That's not actually true. I did. They won't want to hear that though. Sure, whatever. Retreating, they bend to the floor and collect the book from where it landed. As they lift it, the exoskeleton cracks and dissipates. If you're so keen on learning, take a look at this. Shift closer and adjust my glasses. Together we peer at the cover. M. Eminescu. Opera complete. Oh? There should be an ending where it's polyamorous and I can date both Seth and the ghost. I think that should be allowed. For me, as a treat. I don't think my Romanian is good enough for a book this big. I can't fucking say that word without it coming out in the meme. I don't think my Romanian is good enough for a book this big. There's no English translation yet. Is there a reason you're showing me something I can't read? Mihai Eminescu, our national poet. The spirit of Romania itself, from a certain perspective. Don't know if I agree, but I can't argue that he's important. Part of his work is putting our folklore to paper, typical romantic stuff, heroes and princesses and dragons, and how about this one? Dreamy men who appear in a shower of stars, all beauty and glamour, a zero blue light, batting their blank dead doe eyes. You know about him? That's not carefully. If anyone says his name, they pay for it. We're supposed to act like he never existed, like he doesn't exist. Can't speak to him either. We're turned to Vladdy's frequency. Anything loud enough to override him is bound to break our brains in the process. Despite the prohibition, the spirit is important to Seth, or wouldn't be talking about him. Before he died, who was he? A wistful look tinges their face. All he submitted is that he's a salesman, but that can't be it. God, no. He meant so much to me. Nobody else saw me for who I really was. If there's anything I can do to help him, consider it done. Whatever crimes he committed, he doesn't deserve to be punished like this. Crimes. The ghost hasn't mentioned any crimes. He wouldn't, would he? The mundane stuff is under heavy guard, so who knows how tight the security on his actual secrets is. What does he need? Has he explained anything? No, I'm gonna collaborate. He wants us to find his body parts. Yeah. Nobody knows the specifics of where they are, except for the obvious, like the bathroom being off limits or the billiard set being unbalanced. Any leads? He said he'd play piano for me if I found him the music. That a lead or an opportunity to show off? A lead, I think. If they go the insane routes of like the bones being the keys, or like the ligaments being the strings, or some insane shit like that, like the piano is in some way made of the body, like there's some part of the body in the piano, I'm gonna fucking lose my shit. I'm sure he's gutted to be stuck doing that. I really hope I think there are gonna be guts in the piano. It'll be romantic. I'm looking forward to it. Don't let him hear you. Once he starts, he doesn't stop. Oh, Before you get too excited, there's an experiment I'd like to try. They opened the book to a page with a woven bookmark. Mention not having much Romanian. Yes? Take a look at this. Luxia farul. O esti frumos. Cum numan vis. Oninger se arata. Lara pecaria se aiteshkis. Noi mech nisiodata. O thou art beautiful as bud, in dreams an angel shows the way thou hast opened for me's forever close. Stran lavorva di labor, lucesti fara de viața, catio sunt vie, tu esti mort, zioxiul dauma nyecta? Thy port and mien and speech are strong, life's high gleams don't impart, for I'm alive and thou art dead, and thy eyes chill my heart. Why can I? Figures. They closed the book. In the basement, while I carried you out, I heard you speak a bit of Romanian. Unsi. Unless you've got family around here, there's no reason you call an uncle that except... Is it to do with him? Yeah. When he latches onto someone, those fingers sink in deep. And he doesn't always care what he gouges loose. Have a nice date, make music together, help him find himself, but don't lose yourself in the process. Know when to say no. Because for everything he gives, he takes. Language for language, memory for memory, thought for thought. If he doesn't get his own body, mine isn't worse than material it's made from. That might not stop him. Promise you'll be careful and I'll go get the music he's after. Sure. Tess doesn't like my tone. With that settled, we set the book aside and proceed deeper into the library. Any requests? I hummed a tune from our previous encounter, tunelessly. They wince. If he ever offers his perfect pitch, accept that. It kind of got Das Wirtshaus, like how you can filter piss into water, Spinning on their stiletto, they disappear into the back room of the library. Paper whips about and several boxes hit the floor, while they mumble over it all. Finally, we return with a hand-bound music book in hand. Schubert's Winterreise. Winterreise. The pages weigh heavily on the frayed binding. A lot of pages what I assumed was a single song. Is it a symphony? A song cycle. Oh my god, that scares the shit out of me. They slap my shoulder as they hand it over. Enjoy the lesson. After everything you've said, I'm worried I won't. Aw, don't be afraid. Deciding the slap wasn't enough encouragement, they shoved me onward. Just be cautious. How could I not be? Clutching the book tight to my chest, I take my leave. That seems to dissolve back into the shadows, consumed by the cavern of stories. Tens of thousands of books in competition for a single reader. Vulnerable too, though adept at hiding it. Okay, let's locate the piano. To play music, it's important to have an instrument. The castle doesn't seem to have a dedicated room, and there isn't an organ in the Great Hall, so I'm not sure where to start looking. Until I remember seeing a chapel somewhere on the ground floor. Religion and music go hand in hand down the aisle of almost every denomination in the world. Whatever faith Dracula practices, it ought to have some kind of accompaniment. Shoving the double doors inward, I find myself at the back of a 50-seat Orthodox church. Not huge, but bigger than the family needs. The densely ornamented walls and lack of windows make it feel cramped for its size. Too tight and decorative to feel like the synagogues I'm used to, which only increase the sense of alienation. These aren't familiar beliefs, it's even a different type of Christianity to what they practice at home. Protestants don't clutter their churches. Multiple layers removed from my own face. What am I doing here? The only consolation is that Dracula doesn't seem to use it anymore himself. Instead of electricity or gas, the chapel is lit by bare candles, dripping from rows of candlesticks not nearly dense enough to brighten the whole room. Candles that burn blue. The brightest around the piano by the altar. As I approach, white static flickers around the edge of my vision. It intensifies into an agonizing light. Ah! Then subsides to an aura and a headache. Squinting through the pain, I see him. In a tight pose on the piano bench, elbows kept near his waist and spine as straight as can be. Playing a new tune. I move in closer to watch his lisp hands work the keys. Except when I reach the end of the aisle, I notice the keys aren't moving. Why can I hear a song? Swan Lake, Moderato, waiting for the oboe. The piano, though, can cover for almost any part in an orchestra, versatile as they come, able to play whatever role is required. It can be a lifesaver or a mere panacea. What's the point of a piano? It's not a formal part of the ensemble, yet when it's gone, we miss its utility. Always wanted, never needed. In the middle of the phrase, he slams his hands through the board. Instead of 10 notes, dozens play at once. Welcome to your lesson, Roger. Have you brought the music? Hesitantly, lifting the messy book overhead in case the pages try to escape, I smile. Das Wirtshaus. Wunderbar. His shoulders relax and he pats the stand above the keyboard. In a slow, intentional motion, he turns around on the bench, swinging his legs from the inside to the outside. The surface of his body shimmers like a pool of quicksilver, insubstantial, forcing itself to stay together just for me. Take a seat. I approach the bench. The closer I am, the colder he is. Until he's right against me, the icy aura turns my face and fingers numb. We sit together. Evening? He smiles sharply. All right, let's play. We cram into the middle of the bench, where his legs brushes mine. It turns numb. How much experience do you have? They let me touch a glockenspiel once at school. God, it's like society wants good music to die. Have you heard any of Theodora's ghastly records? I didn't know she collected them. Americans going wham, wham, wham. He demonstrates on the keys. Here, time to fill these halls with actual artistry. Arcing his long fingers across the middle of the board, he draws a delicate tune from the center of the piano. But as he ascends into the upper and lower ranges, and what I realize is a tuning exercise, he reveals a number of bad notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What I say about the keys being made of bones? Atonal and almost inaudible. Rotten hammers, frayed wires. Concluding his demonstration, he gestures that it's my turn. Reaching out, I press a single, tentative note. It clunks down hard and fast. None of that practiced beauty, just clumsy sound. It won't bite. Might deafen us. I try a few more notes. Clunk, clunk, clunk. Abrupt and unpleasant. Can't you... It isn't a lesson if the teacher does all the work. But I can help. In a massive starburst, harsh enough to scour the rest of the cosmos from the sky, he disappears. Tiny motes of light hover in the air where he was. The room hums in anticipation. What's his play? I prepare to stand from the bench, extending my hands to use the keyboard for balance. As I reach out, they trail a pale blue afterimage. My legs won't move at all. Something tugs my muscles and levers my bones, draws my elbows straight, sets me back in position to play. A cold breath seeps into my ear. Sit up. Your posture is awful. I'm gonna defend myself. I'll sit how I like. Not anymore. Slowly, something draws my spine out until I'm seated as tall as it stretches. You're controlling me. I'm being worn like an ill-fitted suit. I've been possessed. I'm like remembering what Seth said. You know, like know when to say no. I'm gonna say stop that for this. Oh, but I'm here. I'll see where this is going, actually. No, we're doing the demo. We're gonna get the ending we get. Stop that. You asked for me to intervene. His voice echoes around my skull like vertigo. I struggle to clasp my hands to my ears. He allows it. In what world would this be what I meant? Usually when people call for help, what they really want is someone else to do the job for them. Besides, you didn't actually think I could teach you piano in under an hour, did you? I don't know what I expected. Don't know what you're capable of. Plenty. I'm full of surprises. Now he's taken my voice. Presuming at the piano, he doesn't fully understand how to move me, and it's less accurate than his phantom performance was. It takes several taut descending scales for him to get a sense of his new limitations. While he's preoccupied, I manage to overpower him. Don't gloat at me with my own body. I'm not gloating, I'm being forthright. Why should I play along anyway? What's the point? Isn't it obvious? Enough acting coy. I force my forearm flat across the keys. The ghost tries to pry it away. What are we doing? Roger, be reasonable. I am. In this brief skirmish of wills, I'm the victor. To release this next part, we need to perform the song perfectly. There aren't any other pianists in the castle. It's meant to be a challenge only I can succeed at, and I'm incapable for obvious reasons. A deadlock. Trapped forever. Dracula did this to him, but I haven't put thought into why. This is a lot of effort to keep a dead man buried. Unburied, technically. Was it revenge? Or was there a practical reason? Vampires are undead. Who knows what utility the ghost's corpse might have in their clutches? Or what having it back under his power might mean. Just look what he can do with someone else's body. How does he plan to use his own? I'd be a fool to assume he's only motivated by sentimentality. Do I want him as an ally? Knowing what he'll do, not knowing what he does it? Give me your body, now, for both our sakes. I'm gonna go with this one. You're right, I can't do this alone. No matter how much I hate letting him use me, it's the only viable solution for our current problem. There's nothing you can say that'll make me okay with it, but I will do it. Thank you. I'm sorry. Releasing the tension in my muscles, I allow him complete, uncontested control. Confidence amplified, the ghost drifts from scales into what must be the piece on the front page. Winterreis, number 1. Gute Nacht. Frem bin ich Engels sagen, frem sehe ich wieder aus. A stranger arrived, a stranger I depart. You know the story of Winterreis? Let me guess. Winterreis means winter's journey. Probably about wandering around Germany on a grey day. Schubert was one of the sad composers, wasn't he? Nice try, Roger, but Schubert was Austrian. Austria was grand then, Europe's beating metronomic heart. Have you ever been? Was it beautiful? Yes, I know. Business trip in a cheap hotel. I got bed bugs and my client was a conspiracy theorist. With a nod of my head, the ghost wheels the book forward almost to the end. Song 21, Draculesti house. In today's, a man's journey through the woods after rejection. Eventually, he arrives at a graveyard. Why did I almost say gay bar? Af einen Totenake hat mich mein weggefragt. Alljährlich will ich enkeln, habe ich bei mir gedacht. Under his conduction, my voice is refined from a flat, faltering sing to a full, flowing instrument. If he thinks I'm happy to see him outshine me at being me, he's underestimated my capacity for jealousy. Watching him perform, my resentment of him doing this only intensifies. Don't speak. He stops me before I've said a word. Remember, we can't make any mistakes. That goes for the vocals too. I wanted to ask him how he's outdone me at being myself when I've had a lifetime to practice. Erkunen tot een consequence wil je zeker zijn. Die moet wandelen is kole weerschouwing. Low laughter sounds in my head between stanzas. It's not that hard to operate something if you've adjusted the controls. What do you mean? Don't dwell on it. Ghost. In a fright, I try to wrest my hands from the keys, but he keeps them, and the music steady. Careful! All I did was restring your vocal cords to reduce the pitchiness. It was nothing. Not like lengthening your fingers. My voice doesn't sound right because it's not my voice. When I glance at my hands, it's true, they're not mine either. The color is right, the freckles and filed nails, but the joints are longer. The length of an average man's. What has he done? How did he... He's a ghost. Since when can ghosts... Not to worry. All reversible. I'd never alter anything without due cause. Unless you've got a request. Ooh, these are both... I want to know what else he can do. What else can you do? What he's doing, bending my bones and shifting my skin to his whims, should disgust me. It's a breach of trust, autonomy, biology. Instead, I'm transfixed by the results and by the possibilities. And the ghost senses my interest. With the right materials to hand, I can make anyone into anything. Break your pieces apart and leave you a cross-section celebration of human anatomy. Reshape you into someone else, whoever you like, say a name. Imagination is the only limit. Touch further light, notes immaculate, all grace, he spreads my fingers, place them impossibly wide, flaunting what he's done with them. I feel a frisson of anticipation. What else does he have planned for me? I'll let him do it. Everything will be in its proper place. Vinden in deze hostie kamer adbensecht, wien mat som nederzinken being tochlich sverlest. Our eyes close. Transcending my hard-won sheet music, he feels the patterns and intricacies of the song in his soul, totally fluent in its emotional language. Something stirs in him, in me, and trembles there inside us. Being able to play is meaningful, being able to play the song. An unexpected second chance. What else might we have recovered here? The final lines flood from our mouths and hands. The chapel awash in desire and artificial starlight. O onmemech geschenk, doch wisses du mich hab, nan wechser den nerweitzer men treur van der stap. We slow through the last few bars of unaccompanied piano. The ghost concludes. It's over. The ghost continues. Unable to stop, he races and climbs from the dirge-like pace of Dasvir's house up toward the triumphal march. Though I'm free to speak, his music carries me along. I lose track of what I wanted to say. Thundering, pounding, commanding the keys for what must be minutes until he's satisfied. His spirit detaches from me without ceremony. I barely catch myself, all my muscles disengage with him and almost drop me on the floor. Impressive reflexes. We did it. I didn't do anything, per your request. What was that at the end? Flesh rearrangement. I know it by heart. I was a victim of lishtomania. Sounds serious. Almost as bad as what Dracula did to me. Hubert is for sorrow. A series of clicks play along the keyboard. Licht is for triumph. The 10 atonal keys rise from their places like leaves reaching for the sun. I touch the nearest key. A dry rustle comes from underneath. Try pulling it. I suddenly don't want to. I have to. This is what we came for. I pull. It takes me as much effort as a loosely rooted weed. The wire slips free of the internal mechanisms and the key tugs out. On the underside of the key is a desiccated stick with a pinkish strand dangling from the end. I set it aside on the bench. There were 5 grouped on the left and 5 on the right. I work through the rest of the left group. For the right, I place my right hand underneath them, a finger below each, and find the tips of the sticks. When we make contact, they curl inward and catch onto me. All 5 come along together. I shuck the sticks from the keys. 10 total. The ghost withered fingers are dead mirrors of what he's made of mine. Ooh. We're a perfect match. We belong together. Since his fingers aren't attached, I tie the tendons in knots, 2 sets of 5s, like a pair of cat o' nine whips. Creepy as hell, okay. The sets go in my jacket pockets. They're bulky and discreet, but not immediately visible. What would you have done without me? Shut up. Where will you put your ever-mounting hoard? My suitcase has a lock. Locks are fragile. In future, I'll bring a safe. Never mind, rejoice, we're halfway to completion. Halfway. Here I was, worried we'd be pulling individual ribs from the cliffside. No, he has quite selective nothing that didn't seem important or poignant. Each piece we clear from the board clarifies my view of what's left. Tomorrow, the gallery. Come armed. Shouldn't we do as much as possible tonight? I'd love to, but I'm afraid you're out of time. Miss Popescu. If you can rearrange my fingers, you can heal my leg, fix me, then we can forget about her. Not her who's coming. Get away from the piano. Hurry. Heavy footstep from the hall. Someone sudden closer. I hobble desperately over to a display of candles on the opposite side of the altar. The color shifts from blue to dual yellow. I submit to a contemplative pose just as an angry red figure fills the entrance. Master Renfield. Prince Dracula? Despite being somewhat prepared for his arrival, the overwhelming presence in wheels forces me back a step. In the chapel, curious. Starting between the pews, he arrives at my side. Admiring the decorations. The candles continue to dim in his presence. English churches don't look like this. English has a new face, ours is old. Romania's, not mine. I no longer abide. These decorations, all their glamour and expanse, are meant as an earthly display of the might of God. Pathetic. A deity that relies on such pettiness proves its own inadequacy. Our Lord is unafraid to speak through scarred cities and spilled blood. When I interrupted the family when I discovered they're vampires, was that a religious ritual? Who is your Lord? The candles suffocate. His mortal wicks are all that's left to see by. Dardarod, Lord of Dominance, a devil worshipper who commits human sacrifice. In this castle, every crime of faith could be accused of happens in earnest. Things my grandfather and father and I have withstood baseless accusations of. We have wandered through the years and centuries and millennia throughout history, desposed and hounded for no reason except plain bigotry. Here, Dracula sits eternal on his throne in abject guilt. Unbothered. Real power, otherworldly or otherwise, is never having to be held accountable. I hear your heart thrashing in its cage. Patience. Is this anger born of jealousy or righteous indignation? There will be a reckoning. After all, it is rare in this idle era for any god to lay hand upon the world of ours thus. Today, endure. What does it matter? Your anger is immaterial. Instead, let's interrogate your being here. He extends an arm across my shoulders and begins to walk us across the room, towards the piano. I'm startled of my rage. Why are we? The songbook is out on the stand. I agree the decorations are worth a look, but that wasn't why you came. A beautiful performance, if I may. Why try to hide it? Because I'm an amateur. It's embarrassing to have someone eavesdrop on practice. Nonsense, give yourself credit. That was a lovely rendition of... He looks at me wickedly. Pardon, I've forgotten the name. What was it called? There's no answer worse than not answering. Sink, Roger, sink. Winter Wonderung. You avail yourself of the castle library. Cesara does keep it tidy, doesn't she? Did you help, or did you find the book yourself? I'm not putting Cesara under the bus. All on my own. It is well kept. Impressive. We reach the piano. Especially for someone who doesn't know the title. Oh no. Oh shit! Dracula smiles at the book. We should know a man who loved winter ice. In his absence, I find it too painful to listen to. Cesara should have known. She will need reminding. Collecting the cane from the bench, he turns and removes us from the room. Uh-oh. From the threshold of the bedroom, he throws me at the bed. I fall short and barely catch the edge. You can manage from here. The door clicks shut while I struggle to get my bearings. Hauling myself on top of the bed, I splay out, staring at the canopy with unfocused eyes. I was like, oh no, what if I answer correctly? What's gonna cause? Apparently answering wrong was the issue. Oopsie. Take the fingers from my pockets to confirm they're there. Clench the parched remnants. Hostia puta, de verdad. Clench the parched remnants of his hands in mine. Shudder in disgust. Dracula knows about Cess. What kind of reminder will he send them? It was only a songbook. Songbook doesn't mean anything. I don't bother with pajamas, I can't. The best I can do is remove my day clothes and lie in my underwear. He won't come when I called. I have the fingers here though, and there's a connection between him and his parts. Why won't you heal my ankle? I shouldn't expect a response. All those unwanted changes, and not what matters? There's no guarantee he's hearing this. Come on, please. Nothing. Continue on alone. Like usual. I burrow beneath the covers. It's cold without full-length sleeves or pants. Instance from sleep, there's a voice. Rising from the dream to meet me like a wave crashing against the cliff as I plummet into the ocean below. Tess got caught intervening. I prefer to stay undetected for now. We can while away a few hours together, though, somewhere private. Wait. We plunged in. Neither of us have any control where. We break the turquoise surface and land in a golden plaza. Across the skyline are thousands of pale sandstone buildings, sporadically skirted in wooden scaffolding. People hurry about in vivid clothes, proving in an instant why England has a reputation for being grey. The city is crimson, teal, fuchsia, sunset umbers, layered rainbows. I am a boy with a paper bag of hazelnuts crunch in hand. The crowd is taller than me. They part to let me through, but not for my benefit. My tunic is dark, though I am brightly burnt where it shows skin, and I have few accessories to add other color. a gowned figure in mournful black. The alienation hurts worse than the loss. Who have I lost? I eat my snack and drift about the market. The baker in the corner is surprised to see me by myself. Where is the rest of the class? Once he's thought it over, the solitude and what I'm wearing, he offers apology bread. Is that how I got the hazelnuts too? The market stints out into a half-constructed residential district. I live in the opposite direction near the new palace and the dormitory. We aren't allowed past the market until later in our education, but we have a stronger command of the language, and we can blend in. I am a special case. Sultan likes my uncle more than he dislikes me. Today is an unusual day. Along an empty alley, I balance on an uneven brick fence line, wobbling forward toe to heel, bread hung from my mouth. He's gone. He was always gone. What difference does it make how he's gone when that's just what he is to me? Everyone else says it's different. Without realizing, I've come to a stop at the highest part of the fence. The last bite of the roll reveals a sharp drop behind my empty fingers. Guess I'll have to turn back. The alley forms a wind tunnel. The draft plucks at the hem of my white trousers and loose tunic. It's mid-afternoon. The sun has dropped behind the damaged administrative blocks to the west. Rotted roof beams throw their shadows around me. Shuffle about, face on the fence. Just as I raise my rear foot to resume walking, something catches my trouser billowing away from my ankle. I gasp and teeter on my leading foot. Cautiously worried how I'll stay balanced, I look over my shoulder to see what's caught me. The shadows. It's the shadows. Darkness taken form, 5 fingers that stretch further the brighter the light they reach into. In immediate terror, I jolt along the fence. It tears a strip of fabric for itself. I don't care, I carry on. When I'm on flat ground, I let myself check again. Maybe it was nothing but loose boards and overactive imagination. The shadow uses bows. 2 now, arms to pry the rest of its umbral body from the fence. Patchy and skeletal, it looms like a vulture, assessing whether I'm fit to pick apart. Run. Obviously, I have to run. Eyes back, I run forward, colliding with someone else. Ah! How dare you keep getting in here? A man with hands the color and temperature of ice seizes me by the wrists. No, no, no! Roger, snap out of it. Stop! Come on, man, this is embarrassing. Get a hold of yourself. Huh? That's right. These aren't my dreams or my memories. I am Roger. When I look around, there's no one on the fence, and I'm the ghost's height, more or less. Where are we? Finally. Welcome to Constantinople, city of my youth. City of his... Are these your dreams? This all started because I thought I'd share my own formative memories of Dracula. It seems, though, that having tapped this particular vein, there's no way to limit what spills out. Nobody ever projected themselves this far into my mind. Likely because no one else has slept this close to me, where the fingers of comfort. I was you. Age 9, recently enrolled in the Niendia run, the first step on the path to becoming a Janissary. There weren't many of us this young in the capital. Those of us that stayed here were special. It was done as a favor. For your uncle. In bed was a sultan, literally. An exception to any law that might obstruct his ascent, and I, holding on to him for dear life, flew in the face of it all too. Except, where uncle was a blessing upon them, I became a curse. A failed commander, the ruin of their campaign, ultimately, their enemy. Not just a salesman. Swordsman, sells sword, salesman. It all flows together in the end. When was this, ghost? There's a familiar look in his eyes. He's contemplating whether he can get away with lying. He's told too many half-truths and dodged too many questions. This dream is a corner he's backed himself into. This is 1462. Present in the 15th century and the 19th century and haunting us to this day. How much of what was he alive for? No, ordinary victim. What are you? There's nowhere to flee. Flight or fight. A monster, like the rest of them. Lightning strikes the world. It bursts apart in a million shards of ice. For a moment, we're suspended in the void. The ice falls first, melts and collects in a black sea beneath us. I reach for him. He dodges my hand. Without his support, I fall too. Plunge back to reality. Oh! Okay! Okay! Yeah, no, don't worry, yeah. Yeah. If you liked this, make sure you back them on Kickstarter, link in the description. Okay. Okay. Well, that was Draculesti. Oh, he's gone. Okay. Well, that was Draculesti, as mentioned. If you enjoyed, make sure to check out the Kickstarter down in the description. Having said all that, leave a like, subscribe, all that stuff. You've been on YouTube, you know how it goes. And I will see you guys next time. Bye bye, everybody. Bye bye.